Hear NFL legends, players, coaches, and media members from around the country sharing their insights and stories with us year-round. Here on Thursday Night Tailgate.
All right, now back in making his sixth appearance with us here on Thursday Night Tailgate is Olandis Gary. Let me remind you about Olandis' background. He's from Washington, D.C. He played his first 2 years of college ball at Marshall and then transferred to the University of Georgia, where he played his final 2 seasons. And over those 2 seasons, he rushed for nearly 1,100 yards and 17 touchdowns. And those 17 touchdowns put him in the top 5 in the SEC both seasons. He was a 4th-round draft pick by the Denver Broncos in 1999 and burst onto the scene his rookie year after he replaced an injured Terrell Davis. He rushed for 1,159 yards and 7 touchdowns. He played in the league from 99 to 2004 with the Broncos and the Lions, and over that time averaged 4 yards per carry and 7 yards per reception. In 99, he was the Week 15 Offensive Player of the Week, and we're honored that he is back with us again tonight here on Thursday Night Tailgate. Hey, Olandis, Chris, and Bob, thanks for coming back on the show.
Welcome back.
Hey, fella, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. How's it going?
No, it's fantastic. Thank you. So, Olandis, I want to start by getting your thoughts on your alma mater, the University of Georgia, right? All eyes are going to be on them this season to see if they can get back to a national championship game. But first things first, you got to win the SEC East to get there. Do you think anybody in the East is going to challenge Georgia this season?
Definitely. We definitely will be challenged. And we actually have an early challenge in University of South Carolina. I think, they're doing some great things down there with Will Muschamp. So that's definitely an early challenge for us. And, it's always tough when you're playing teams like Tennessee, in the conference. So you never know. In Florida, they look like they're doing some good things as well. So, I think the East is getting stronger and stronger, with the coaches that are coming into the league now. So, I definitely think we'll be challenged in the East, and it's definitely going to be a dog fight going forward for us.
And Olandis, now with Nick Chubb and Sony Michel both in the NFL, who's the next great University of Georgia running back? You have such a lineage of great running backs year after year after year. Who's the next guy? Yeah,
I think there are a couple. I've been watching him a little bit. Holyfield, Vanna Holyfield's son. I think I think he's going to come on. Elijah Holyfield, he's going to come on strong this year for us. And then there's a freshman that's going to play as well. So we have a few other guys that I think that's going to hold the fort down for us there.
And Olandis, when you look at a guy like Jake Fromm, really good freshman year, obviously getting Georgia to the title game and nearly won it. But Georgia also brought in the #1 quarterback recruit in the country in Justin Fields. So you've got 2 really good quarterbacks. A great problem for Kirby Smith to have, right? But if you're going to have a problem, hey, I got too many good quarterbacks now on my roster. You think Fields is going to stick around? Will he sit 3 years behind Fromm?
I don't know if he has to, me and my son, we were talking in the car on our way home, and, the old saying, if you have 2 quarterbacks, you have none. I think, George, I think we're bucking that one. I think we have 2 great quarterbacks. And, I think, you know how it is, being from that state, being in Georgia, those guys, they lived it, their whole life. So it's not just a university to them, it's a way of life. So I think they can coexist. Hopefully, for us, because they're both of them are excellent talent. So, hopefully they can coexist and, find a way to figure it out to get them guys on the field the same, together, or, getting them both some, opportunity to play, football at that level.
So is anything short of a return to the national championship game? Is that a failed season at this point?
I would say so, just because the expectations are so high. People, last year, people, would come up to me and, tell me how sorry they felt for me and all this. And, to me, it was a great season because I took my family down last summer, and, the conversations we were having then, I was having with Kirby and, some of the coaches, the national championship was not in the picture, so, just to be able to get there and, we played well, fell off late, but, I think those guys, now, like you said, with a year under their belts and, going to the national championship game, I don't think, they're looking for nothing less. And, it also bodes well with the, recruiting class that we're having right now.
Bob, questions for Olandis?
Olandis, as a former running back, we're talking a lot tonight about Saquon Barkley here in New York, and I don't think we've talked to you since he got drafted and get your thoughts. What do you know about him, Olandis? What do you see from him coming on, and how does a guy with quads that big run so fast?
Man, I love him, as a running back, and I don't know him personally, of course, but you can see things, from interviews you glean, different things, that he says. And, he says all the right things. The kid is polished. I think, he's ready for that, New York market. He's a star, starting to make it. And I think his first carry went for like 40 something yards. Is unbelievable. I'm looking for big things. And, like you said, I'm looking for him to get a gold jacket, after his, 4 or 5 years after, he retired from the NFL.
And speaking of rookies, Olandis, your rookie year, we've talked about before too, was a magical one. You rushed close to 300 times, and that kind of workload at the pro level compared to anything you ever had done, must have been something. How did you feel after that end of that first year? I know you're young and everything, but that's a big workload for a young guy, Olandis.
Yeah, and you learn fast. And you said at the end, I was on a radio show last week. We were talking, about injuries and things like that. And when my first game when I played at Denver, I suffered a turf toe injury, and so that having to play through that for about I think like the next 4 or 5 weeks, just laboring through that was tough as well. So, when you're in the league, you always got to, certain things that you can play with and, nicks, that you have to play through. But, I didn't never know how important a big toe was until I had, plantar fasciitis. It was unbelievable. But, we changed cleats and things like that. And, certain things that helped me to smooth out the pain a little bit.
Olandis, switching gears a little bit to the Broncos. Curious to get your thoughts on their chances this year and Case Keenum now as he has taken over as quarterback there.
For them, I'm looking at it from afar. I'm not an insider. But the things that I've been hearing and saying, that it seems like he has the team, and that's the most important thing. For a leader, of that caliber, in Denver, when a quarterback has the team and, everyone's going, on the same page, I think, bodes well for them, and, they have a good receiving core there. And, so they'll definitely look to throw the ball, a lot, what they have there. So, I'm definitely looking for some big things out of the Broncos this year.
And Olandis, we talked about some of the running backs that are in the league now. Obviously, Saquon Barkley a moment ago with Bob. But growing up, who were some of the running backs you idolized and you tried to emulate?
Oh, that's a great question. My favorite, the guy I idolized was Walter Payton, Tony Dorsett, and my favorite running back was Eric Dickerson. Yeah, he's a different style. And, I just loved, he ran high, but he got low when he needed to. And, he just always did everything that, he wasn't the fastest, but he's always fast enough. He wasn't the strongest, but he was strong enough. So, something about he did. And then, the face mask, it was, everyone had a Eric Dickerson face mask. They still do some form of it today with the new helmet. But, just having that Eric Dickerson face mask, back in the day was just unbelievable. So, he was my favorite was, Eric Dickerson.
How about other guys that are in the league now? Who are some of the running backs you enjoy watching?
Now I don't watch too much football right now, to be truthfully honest. But to me when I watch it, 'cause the game to me is more cerebral than anything. So I don't, when I played and I wasn't dressed and I was the guy that I had to know what the plays were just so I can be involved in the game. So now, when I don't know a play or, I have to wait until the play is over and then try to rethink everything that everyone did in that play, just to figure it out, what was going on. It's kind of tough. So now, I don't watch too much, too many guys now, but, with Saquon coming in, Sony and Nick Chubb now, those are the guys that I will be watching now, because I have, I kind of, have that Georgia tie with Chubbs and, Sony. But, I'm watching, the younger guys now more so than the guys that are in the league.
Olandis, before we let you go, remind our listeners what you're doing now and how they can follow you both online and on social media.
Oh, definitely. I'm full-time dad, working, just enjoying my family. Like you said, I'm in the Washington, D.C. area. And, all social media, it's Olandis Gary at everything. So, wherever you guys are, that's where my handle is, Olandis Gary.
You remember that?
Well, Olandis, thank you so much for taking time out of your night to come back and be a part of the show. Always great for Bob and I to get to spend some time with you. We hope you'll come back during the season and share more of your stories and insights with us.
Love talking to you.
I appreciate it, fella. Thanks for having me. And, y'all was talking about Hall of Fame earlier. It kind of got me going because, just thinking about, the guys that I played with, it's just unbelievable that, those guys are starting to go into the Hall now. So, it's unbelievable. And guys like Champ Bailey, Terrell just got in last year. Randy Moss was the guy that I played, when I left Marshall, he was coming to Marshall. So, those different ties. So it is a very emotional thing. But I definitely feel your pain, with a lot of guys that didn't get in. So.
Well, thank you for that, Olandis. Take care, my friend. We'll catch up again with you soon. In between now and then, all the best to you and your family.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me, fellas.
Take care.
All right, take care, Olandis. That is former University of Georgia and Denver Broncos running back Olandis Gary. And Bob, you look back over the time when he came into the league, and a guy that really, like I say, burst onto the scene. You get a guy like Terrell Davis. I'm sure the guys in Denver, their heart sank when Terrell goes down, but all of a sudden Olandis Gary comes in and he gives you nearly 1,200 yards, 7 touchdowns. Boy, it's hard to put. Now you got both those guys, right? So kudos to Olandis for being a guy who really stepped up big when he got an opportunity.
Love watching those old Bronco teams, Chris. I'm looking at some of the stats. McCaffrey and Rod Smith had over 100 catches apiece one year. And Mike Anderson, the former military guy, he was in that back. It was a fun crew to watch, and we'll talk more about his teammates next time he comes on.
All right, when Bob and I come back, we'll be turning on the Thursday Night Tailgate Spotlight on the Positive. Hear which players are doing great things in their communities, and then we're going to wrap up the show, and we're going to do that on the other side of these words about our friends at the Salt Creek Golf Retreat and DP Quality Foods.